And so here, he or she, whatever a xenomorph is supposed to be. I've always heard the xenomorphs are girls, since they all have the potential to turn into a queen. But regardless, here's the Alien Isolation Xenomorph figure from Neca Toys. It's just the standard blister packaging. Now on the back here, it just says the same thing that it says on all of the Alien Isolation packages, just talking about Sevastopol and stuff like that. And then of course it shows you the other two characters in the line, Amanda in a jumpsuit and Amanda in a spacesuit. And then you have a picture of the the xenomorph looking menacing right there as well. Since there's not a whole lot to say about NECA's standard packaging, let's just go ahead and open it up. Okay, let's look at the accessories really fast. There really isn't any. It's just this stand and just this base where the stand goes in. I kind of wish that this was more of a clamp that had hinges, because I guess this is just supposed to, it just kind of like fits around the leg, but it doesn't really it doesn't fit the leg exactly. It kind of snaps in, and it's certainly not going to fit the waist of the xenomorph, and it's not going to hold the tail. So it's, yeah, I don't know, it just kind of helps support the xenomorph, or else he'll fall over because he's too tall. But that's it as far as accessories go. So here he is, and he looks beautiful. He is fantastic. He is very closely modeled after the 1979, big chap alien xenomorph. But there's like some slight differences. The hands on the big chap figure, the fingernails are pointed like a silver color, the same as the teeth, and he's also like jet black, and he looks really shiny. This figure kind of has this kind of like brown wash to him. The other thing is the big chap alien has a kind of like normal human looking feet, more or less, but this Alien Isolations, he's got like some pretty elongated, creepy, pointy toes instead. But for the most part, looking them over, they're the same. There might be like some small differences in like these kind of inner thigh muscle areas, maybe. But for the most part, they're exactly the same from the head and so on. The Alien Isolation Xeno was, modeled off after Big Chap, so it's, that should be no surprise. They both have a very, very long tail. It's probably 8 or 9 inches, maybe. So a lot of really wonderful work. In the head, you got the kind of see-through bit, so you can see the eye sockets and that skull. Just fantastic work with all these little bits. Those weird little tubes that connect to the jaw, and then the actual jaw itself. Or in the movies, they use shredded condoms, which, man, I don't know how you come up with that idea. Like, oh man, what really suits? What can we use for the mouth? Like, condoms, dude. We'll just shred up a bunch of condoms. Good thinking, Bill. This is why we have you here, always thinking outside the box. But all of this detail in its body is really fantastic. Really brings that Geiger kind of just bizarre features. Like, it's just, I am really, really impressed. I always am with NECA's work on the xenomorphs and these. I always call them snorkels. That may not be what they necessarily are, but they look like snorkels to me. So let's go ahead and have a look at the articulation here. For the head, it can move left and right, but not up or down. Not really. I feel like I'm trying to force it. It's not happening. So pretty much just left and right. These little wires that connect to the jaw kind of stop it a little bit, and then of course you have these big shoulder bits. So that's pretty much all you get. Then with the arm, it's just got a regular ball and socket joint, you know, up and down movement, your basic stuff, and then a little swivel at the top of its bicep, and then a hinge at the elbow. And I really feel like the joints are really well hidden within the design of the Xenomorph. So, but you can see the little ball in there, and then of course it swivels as well. And then the same for the wrist, moves up or down, and of course swivels around as well. Get him to a very nice, like, hey, how's it going? How are ya? I'm a Xenomorph. Pleased to meet you. I'm gonna rip your face out. Okay. And, you know, we're like, oh, stop it. Like, no, dude, I'm serious. Xeno, you have a huge dick head. It's just average. Come on, get out of here. You're embarrassing me. So he's got that going on. Then he's got this kind of waist joint, you know, which can kind of crunch a little bit. Yeah. And then it swivels as well. So it can rock like that if you want him to get all, I don't know, funky. So with the legs, he's got a ball joint in there. If you want to get like an upskirt shot of that, there you go. I made somebody's day. He can't move his legs forward very much. He can move them pretty far back though. But this also lets him swivel his hip around. So that's good. And then he's got double jointed knees. So you can really get him into a nice crouchy kind of pose. If you bring the legs up by you bring his hip out and then up, and then you can get him into like a kind of creepy, more creepy pose, I guess. Like that. And then he's got another joint, I guess, well, this is technically like his ankle joint that goes back and forth, and it also, well, let me show you this way. Yeah, it's got that ankle rocker. And then on the bottom half of his ginormous ass feet, he's got another little swivel. Doesn't seem to me, hang on. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's a hinge there, or it doesn't seem like it, but it does swivel around. And then, of course, the jaw, like the main feature, that opens and closes, and of course he's got his little secondary mouth in there, and this comes out, but like it's really hard. I can't get my fingers in there. You can kind of maybe like tap them on the back of the head and kind of get it to fall out. It is kind of loose in there. We'll use a knife. Okay, there we go. So you can get that to come out. And it's got some detail on it as well. And of course the teeth are painted. Then you just slide it back in. And the other big feature is that its tail has like a bendy wire, so it's like a flexible tail. It's not super flexible. I mean, you really gotta bend it to get it to hold its shape. But other than that, pretty cool. This tail's actually, I mean, it's pretty long. It's about as long as the Xeno himself. But you can get some cool, you know, frightening like tail whip poses, or I guess maybe some more like erotic poses if that's your thing. So here's a little size comparison of Amanda and the Xeno. He's not even really fully standing. I wouldn't be able to get him to actually stay up if I did. I'm trying to get his high heels here. But yeah, he certainly towers right over her. He's pretty gigantic. Well, I guess maybe if you put him like that, that just looks ridiculous. Yep, even with his knees bent, he's still bigger than her. Man, this guy was so freaking scary. I mean, why wouldn't you be scared of him? My cats totally do not like the Xenomorph figures. They're not afraid of them. But, I don't know. I guess they just think they're giant bugs that have gotten into the house. So, they do not like them. So here's a size comparison with the Predator. This is the 25th anniversary Predator from Neca. And bigger than a Predator, and the Predators are supposed to be pretty damn tall. What are they, like 8 feet? So even with knees bent, Xeno's still taller. Especially just straight him out again. Yeah, way bigger. Definitely the ultimate prey for a Predator. And so there you go. There's the Alien Isolation Xenomorph. Getting it to stand up is a little difficult in that you know, his upper body weighs so much that it causes his knees to bend no matter what, and that little stand is basically useless. Maybe you can have him like rest on his tail. If you balance him right, though, I have gotten him to stand without the little stand. I've gotten him. I don't know. I'm probably gonna have him more in a kind of creepy, crouchy pose anyway. But yeah. Outside of that, I mean, it's just fantastic figure, just fantastic work. Just all the detail in the ribs and all these little lines that look like wiring and so on. They're just fantastic. This guy scared the living crap out of me playing Alien Isolation. I was so terrified of him. Just I don't know. Um, he really he really made me feel anxious. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Oh god damn, you motherfucking monster. Man, I am so glad I got this. You know, when I picked up the Amanda Ripley figure, there was maybe like 4 of them, and then there was like a couple of Amanda in her spacesuit, and I think it seemed like there was 4 of every character. There was 4 Amanda spacesuits, 4 Amanda jumpsuits, 4 Xenomorphs, and I went back the very next day because I was like, oh man, I should have just picked up the Xeno at the same time. What am I thinking? It's close to the holidays, right? I was waiting for like a sale, like a Christmas sale. Then I was like, no man, I can't chance it and wait for a sale. So I went back the next day, and this was the last Xenomorph. Well, I guess technically there was 2, but the other one, the little wire in the tail, um, that little wire was poking through the tail, so I didn't like that. I'm imagine that's probably why that one got left behind. Just people kept like, oh no, dude, you can see the wire ripping right out of its tail. So if you're gonna buy this for yourself, maybe check out the tail to make sure that that the wire is not poking through. But so for me, this was a big win. I would have been really bummed out if I wasn't able to find it at my comic book shop. I had already gone to Toys R Us and not been able to find any of the Alien Isolation stuff there. I don't know if they just didn't get it yet, or they all sold out because of Christmas shopping, or what. I have no idea. So I'm glad I went back the very next day to pick this guy up. And if we compare this Xeno with the very first Xeno I ever got as a kid, which was the Alien 3 dog Xeno. Like for me, this was my favorite Aliens toy, and then we'll just the Renegade Predator was my favorite of the Predator toys from Kenner, and NECA does make a Renegade Predator. Like I've had these two little Kenner toys for well, I mean, for years. Obviously, I was a little kid. I got these when they came out, but now I think these guys are my favorite Xeno Predator combo. I've had these guys just on shelves staring at each other for, I don't know, 2 decades. Yeah, these guys will never get sick of looking at each other. And these guys are going to go pretty much side by side as well now. So of course little Amanda's going to be right there in between them, like she's trying to break up a fight. Like, come on, guys. You work out your differences. You both hate the shit out of the humans. You know, you got more in common than you think.